means I can walk around a bit easier.
Okay, great.
So are we rolling now?
We're rolling.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mel.
You're welcome.
Okay. Just checking. Can you hear me, Mouse? Okay. Yeah, seems to be fine. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, seems to be fine. Yeah. Thank you. Well, if anybody is watching out there, I'd like to say hi. Welcome to Sorting. It's an archaeology of performance. Not exactly sure myself, even though I came up with that title, what it's supposed to mean. But it occurred because it was about the idea, having discussed with the curator of this piece, Doug Jarvis, who's the executive director here at Open Space and also a curator, the idea of digging through what I like to call performance remnants, things that are left over from performances and or that are created by performance, like some of the stuff around here. So the jars are left over from performance, and the little pieces of blue paper are crumbled up as part of what I've been doing here and just placed on top. But it also is about going through stuff that's not necessarily a direct remnant of performance, like this pile of wires, and seeing if there's something to be created from them. So after I do this live stream, I will try to see what I can do with those cables. And it's part of a larger piece that will be created in the fall, will begin to be created in the fall of this year, which will ultimately result in some kind of performance presentation of some kind. Here's a guy going through the garbage cans just to take out the cans that are worth money. You have to wonder, in a society that is as rich as ours, why people have to do that. Here, you can have a look. He's across the street there's a bus stop right there. And he's sorting through the garbage, and he's sorting out the cans. That's the thing about sorting, it's not just something that artists do, obviously, we all do it. And we do it all the time, pretty much all the time. When we're not sorting objects, we're trying to sort out our dreams, we're sorting our thoughts, we're sorting our ideas, we're sorting our friends, we're sorting our memories. It's a constant, I was going to use the word struggle, maybe it's not really a struggle, but it's a constant activity to make sense of the world. It's something that's common to all of us. It's something that we all do all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. Even the decision to look at this live stream or to say, no, this is way too boring, I'm going to turn it off, is a way of sorting. It's a kind of binary switch. Either you're going to listen or you're not. Sometimes it's much more complex than a binary, though, as anybody who's ever tried to sort through a pile of papers knows. And brings us repeatedly to this question of the relationship between human beings and objects, whatever those objects are. A drawer full of cutlery, an old filing cabinet with stuff in it that you don't look at anymore, photographs of your family, your friends, your colleagues, your history, which now take place digitally, but nevertheless need to be cleaned up and sorted through from time to time. We sort all the time. And what is the relationship between those images, those objects, and human beings? There's often a kind of sentimentality to it. As part of my life, this performance is part of my life, but as part of other aspects of my life, I've been sorting through all kinds of other stuff in other contexts, in my house and other places. And it's sometimes very difficult to let go of a particular note or a particular image that came, let's say, from my mother, who I loved dearly when she was alive, and she's no longer with us and hasn't been now for almost 15 years. So what does it mean? Why would I hold on to that? And when I pass from this planet, what happens to my attachment to that object? Or it can be something more than a handwritten card. It could just be something very simple like a rock or a stone that someone gave you, or a bead or a feather, or something of no commercial value, and yet it's imbued with incredible significance to the person who owns it, maybe to nobody else but that person, maybe just the giver and the receiver. In any case, it's complex, and it seems like we can talk about, as we do, especially in IMPA communities, the importance of distinguishing the cultural context to determine meaning, that objects do not necessarily carry universal meaning. They mean different things to people in different historical times, in different geographic places, and in different cultural contexts. And that meaning can change depending on those things. But nevertheless, we seem to, human beings, regardless of our background, collect things. Well, why do we do that? Is that some kind of human compulsive behavior? There are a few people in the world, like sadhus or monks or other folks, who live with very few objects, and they see the wisdom of not being attached to those objects. But for most of us, and especially most of us in the Western world, we hang on to stuff. And it's part of the commodity fetishism of a capitalist way of living that, makes us happy to have new objects, makes us want to go shopping as if it were a leisurely activity. Actually, it's a question of what I'm doing now is here, have a look at this. What is this activity that I'm doing now, this sorting process? Is it leisure? Is it work? Is it play? Is it really art? Can you characterize sorting as a kind of art? I would say that it is, because I'm making it art. I'm insisting that it be art. I'm insisting that there's a question of a kind of performance. After all, I'm sitting in a storefront window, which looks like this. People are passing by. Let's see if we can wait for a passerby here. Yeah, just because I want to show you one, nobody's passing by. But it's a pretty busy street. You can see the cars going by. As I said, there's a bus stop across the street. Everybody waiting, and of course everybody's on their phone. And people do pass by here, and many of them, or not, maybe not many of them, but some of them stop and interact with what I'm doing. There's a speaker outside, so I can talk to them. Let's see if there's somebody right there. There they go, walking by, laughing. Okay. Oh, and there's cyclists going by too, all the time. So it's a busy spot here in Victoria, which is where I am. Not that far from the water. What is referred to here as the inner harbor, because it is, after all, an inner harbor. And it's where the Empress is. If you know about Victoria even a little bit, you know that the Empress is an iconic way of defining it, was a way of defining its Britishness, like the fishing ships like the double-decker buses, that kind of mythology of what Victoria is. When of course it's Lekwungen territory and has had a history long before any of the British folks got here. And it's slowly coming back to be part of what we think of as this territory. Another guy stopped to listen to the speakers. Just maybe pay just a moment's homage to the Lekwungen people who are here. We call them now the Lekwungen people are part of the Coast Salish people. What I was starting to say there is their historic presence is undergoing a resurgence, and their presence, the renaming of places, the rituals and activities that go on, the canoes in the water, the blessing of certain new buildings or new processes, makes their presence found on this land where it has already been for millennia. And Victoria, this British town, quotations, named after Queen Victoria, is slowly changing. Not changing backwards, not changing back to another time, but just by acknowledging the presence of these human beings that were here long before any of the rest of us got here. That's a way of sorting. It's a way of sorting history. It's a way of understanding history. And for the longest time, the history of Indigenous peoples on this land we call Canada, specifically here on Vancouver Island, was kind of sorted off the radar. It just didn't exist. There was no history. After all, they didn't write things down, so how could they have a history? And even the use of words like prehistoric and proto-historic and so on are ways of eliminating and erasing that history. And now that is slowly returning. The relationship that Indigenous people have to the land and the plants of the land and the creatures of the land being a word that is not just about the earth, but is about the whole cosmos of living here, the water, and of course the islands. We live in a really beautiful part of the world here. Very lucky to live here. I'm grateful every day that I live here. But anyway, to get back to the idea of sorting, it's hard to say it that way, to get back, because pretty much anything that I might speak about or that we might imagine together when we're going through this process involves sorting. Just going to check my parking so I don't get a parking ticket. That's another way of sorting. I have 18 minutes left, so that's good. I'm good for that, 18 minutes anyway. That sorting, and especially this attachment to objects, is something that all of us have to deal with, because we're always cleaning this up or sorting this out or throwing this away, or like I say, arriving from the shopping mall with a bunch of new things that need to be sorted into their place and in our homes. And so it is something that not only artists do, but for artists there's a particular aspect of it which is about an artist's archive. I've had the experience many times of going into people's homes where a relative who was historically an artist has passed away, and they don't quite know what to do with all the paintings or the manuscripts, or because the person has not organized all that before their passing for any number of various reasons. Sometimes whole studios full of the remnants of artistic practice, and the remnants are sometimes worth, thousands or millions of dollars. So to call them remnants is not quite the right word, even though they are, of course, remnants. And so those folks that don't know what to do with what somebody has left behind it's important to me to try to figure that out as I'm approaching the end of my life. I'm in my mid-70s now, and thinking about what it is I want to leave behind, and whether or not it's relevant to do that. Maybe I don't want to leave anything behind. Well, that seems rather futile as well. And is legacy just another word for ego? Is it just another thing to try to, we see south of the border a certain president who's totally preoccupied with leaving stuff behind, this monumental ego and this narcissistic trip to name things after himself and to build things. Obviously, I'm not interested in doing that. Even if I could, I wouldn't be doing that. But nevertheless, I still think about what it is I want to leave behind and what constantly you have as well. Often have their studios preserved. Recently, I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I went to see the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, and there's a whole part of the exhibition that shows, what her workspace was like, recreated inside of a museum. It seems a little hokey to do that, a little corny, a little kitschy, and yet people love it because it gives them an insight into, it's by far the most popular part of the show, even more important than her paintings to some people. So, I don't know, what does that mean? Just want to think about Georgia O'Keeffe for a minute. And now there's plenty of people watching. So what would it mean if you actually owned a Georgia O'Keeffe painting? That would be something you've collected. That would be something that would have value to you. And is your attachment to it because it's worth a lot of money now? There we go. Now that's a little bit better. Now I can look more directly at the camera. There we go. So it's not reversed. Yeah, so what is that? If we go back historically to what Karl Marx said when he was a political scientist, I guess you could call him, and a revolutionary and a communist, and he said that all objects that human beings attach themselves to have a use value and an exchange value. So if you think of something like a fork, it obviously has a use value, and we use it to eat and to jab things and so on. And it has a value on the marketplace of whatever we paid for it, $1 or $300, because it's a very special rich person's fork. And I would argue that as well as that, it has a symbolic value. If we think of use value as created by the environment in which an object's in, if we think of exchange value as something created by the economic system, the economy, if you will, of where the object is, then I think it also has a symbolic value which is created by culture. And culture varies from place to place, from time to time, from race to race, from people to people. And these three components make up the the value, the concomitant value, all stuck inside one object. The use value of the object, the exchange value, and the symbolic value of it. Art generally falls into, has a little bit of relationship to commerce, but it's not, generally speaking, part of commerce. Yes, I know paintings cost millions of dollars, but they're rare. And they're not everybody's art practice by any stretch of every artist's art practice, or even people who are on the stage and one day find themselves in movies and suddenly they're worth a lot of money. But those are exceptions, they're not the rules. Most artistic practice is not made for commerce. And I'm not sure how I would define the use value of an object within the context of art. But the symbolic value is huge. And that symbolic value is related to culture and the cultural context in which we understand the objects as it circulates in that culture, both from a historical, what we might call customary or traditional way of looking at it, and a contemporary way of looking at it. So it's fascinating to think about the relationship that human beings have to objects historically, and I'd even go further and say evolutionarily, because at one time all of our ancestors were tribal. We all sat around fires and we were all nomadic, and we didn't necessarily have a stationary kind of cultural, we didn't have cities, we didn't have towns, we didn't even have settlements. We were on the go all the time. So what do nomadic people keep? Their attachment is usually towards a special stone or a special leaf or a special plant or something that they would carry with them that would be a potion or would have symbolic value in a sacred context. They would carry sacred objects with them, and those sacred objects had a cultural meaning to those folks. And eventually, before the rise of capitalism and the exchange economy and so on, there was still value given, that things would still be worth something, even if they were just traded. And before the invention of money, if they were just traded or bartered, I should say, for other objects, they had an exchange value. So how do we sort that out of an object? Can we take the sentimentality out of an object? Can we have an object that's free of any of those three things? Objects that don't have a use value, objects that, oh, just a minute now, there's somebody come to visit here. Oh, they're looking in the window here. We'll just see who they are here. They're trying to say hi to me, but the way that this is set up is I can only talk to them. I'm not really interested. It's a way of excluding the audience. They're there, and I want them to be there. I want their presence out there, but I don't really want to relate to them. And I'm definitely not interested in what they might have to say. These two people might be the exception, though. Oh, just in time for the demo. This is every Saturday. There's a pro-Palestinian demonstration here. Are they coming down 4th Street? No. That'd be great to capture them. See, this way you can be on the live stream.
No.
You can say there's hundreds of people watching, maybe 3.
Put it away, put it away.
Okay.
What's happening here?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not even sure myself what's happening here. I'm trying to sort. This was supposed to be a live stream of the sorting. It doesn't really work because when I get up to sort, you just see my fat body walking around. It's not very interesting. So we've decided to change it that I will do the live stream for 1 hour between 3 and 4, and then the rest of the time also.
Okay.
But I will always be hooked up to outside, and if I need to pay homage to someone,
So,
she's totally mystified, Rob. Look.
what do you do when you're sorting?
Well, this kind of thing. And these are the labels from the totes that I might use in an art piece. I've got to get through all these cables today. These are my, I think I've told you guys about this.
You have that many cables?
There's another 2 boxes.
No kidding.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you have cables at your house too.
Not like that.
No,
Would you like us to bring them?
No, I'd like you to take
I wish
them.
we thought of it. We could have brought you something.
These are celery balls from pieces of celery that I've chewed and then squeezed together and dried out. They're going to become an artwork at some point.
Okay.
Interesting.
Huh. You just don't know how yet.
No, I don't. I need the advice of a real artist, if you can help me.
Well,
Yeah.
touch of France.
There's,
But in the meantime,
Yeah.
You're packing this around or finding a place to store it.
Yeah, I mean,
So, but that's sorting, right? What stays, what goes.
yeah.
And
That is
anything that I might use in the future, which is a very low bar for people like you and me, I think,
What
gets
does,
stored.
what does
Yeah.
that mean?
Well,
Meaning
he's-
anything might be usable in the future.
He's laughing at us
Oh.
at the same time that he's acknowledging the importance of that, because you don't know what you might use.
The fact that
Yeah.
And it's a compulsion that artists have. Not all artists, not all. Frost is good at getting rid of stuff, but I'd say most artists collect stuff. And they collect it for exactly what you said. It may or may not become part of an artwork at some time.
Yeah.
And
But
it's,
if
it's
there's
a bit of a kind of sickness thing.
There's a remote possibility. Well, you don't want to huck something out
Yeah.
that.
are you
Where did I? Oh, don't tell me I threw that out.
Yeah.
I finally figured out what I want to do with it.
have you ever
She's-
come to
she's
look
got the willies.
in our Rob's
Shed?
part of
Yes.
his
Yes, I've looked in there.
yeah?
It's a nightmare,
Yeah, but he's told me that he's, cleaning it out a little bit.
Well.
So,
but it's my nightmare.
yeah.
No,
Well, the other part
it's
of
our
that
nightmare.
that becomes a problem, as she's saying, is not only just persons that we might live with, but the fact that we're getting older.
Yeah.
So, do we want to leave this mess, is that the right word, this confusion, this, to our children or whoever's supposed to
Yeah,
deal
no,
with
we
it?
do not.
Yeah. So then we have to go through a process of sorting. And we have to have an archaeology of the various performance that someone's done for 50 years. So,
Well, when you move, yes, you will have to
Yeah, that's enforced.
do that.
yeah, that's exactly right, yeah. It is enforced when we move in the future.
Yeah.
So this project comes at a good time. Probably most of the things in here will not move with me. It'll be hard to say goodbye to my Marmite jars, but I'm gonna have to.
Your Marmite jars.
Oh, wasn't that a coincidence?
What?
Well, we
dear.
have our 90-odd-year-old friend who's from the UK.
Right?
Marmite is
Yeah.
big in her life.
Uh-huh.
And she gets into a small panic when she can't find any.
Uh-huh.
But she was sort of over the moon this week because she found a big jar
Wow.
in Fairways.
Ooh. Ooh.
So
So if you need
these things are
more,
important. Marmite.
if you need more jars.
No, I've got more than that are
Even
out here.
big jars.
No, that's.
Did you eat all that Marmite?
At one point, yeah, I haven't eaten it in years because it's an excuse to
Those
eat.
are
But
tiny little jars.
yeah, well, you only need a tiny bit.
Do you?
What's in them now, or are they?
Nothing. They're empty. They're washed out and empty. And
And
these are little conversations I've had with people by stickies. And
Oh,
I didn't want to
sure.
throw them away. So.
yeah.
And you're saving those as well.
Well, I don't know if I'm saving them, but they're for this installation. And I did have until recently some baby jars that I had fed the twins in Paris, but it looked too cluttered, so I moved them off of there. They're cute.
Oh.
They're cute too.
So
Sentimental value.
clutter
Well,
is-
exactly. I was just talking about that when you approached the sentimental value of objects.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't save an empty baby food jar. What kind of idiot would save that?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe you saved one. I've got a box full of them, and I can't let go of them.
That is.
Sick.
Yeah. Well.
No, it's okay.
No,
You can
it's
say
not.
it.
Box of them. Wow.
It's unusual.
Maybe the
GT.
kids will want them.
No.
I asked them whether they wanted them, and they said they would like to have one each,
Yeah.
which makes a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
more sense than
That's
20.
okay.
Yeah. But you have to save them all so that they have their choice.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, some of them have different lids, so you've got a good point there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also very sentimental about objects, especially objects that have been given to me.
Mm.
But I find a lot of people aren't at all.
Mm.
They're more than willing to get rid of
Gifts.
anything that
Yeah.
isn't. That's what my home is. It's just a bunch of
It's a conglomerate of all the stuff to
Old
see. Yeah.
crap.
The other day I was
And I'm
reading.
starting to get tired of it,
Uh-huh.
frankly.
Well, you guys are moving too soon. You don't know it yet, but you're moving
Oh,
soon.
yeah, I know, it's getting closer. I actually started to think about it.
Good. I'm glad that it's imbued in you now.
Where shall we move? We could get a
Big commune.
big,
Little commune.
Well, the thing about communes is that they're great. I lived in a few in my life, but you have to work. You're on the land usually. I mean, I don't want to do any of that
No,
anymore.
that's for the
people are
birds.
doing that housing thing.
Oh,
now,
okay.
Right?
Collective space.
Yeah, or, yeah.
The other day I was reaching for something on a shelf and this little tag fell down. And I picked it up and it said this was handmade in an Irish Belfast war. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I was just about to throw it away. I'll just ask Ross. She goes, oh, don't you know what that is? Kath gave us a
Oh.
yeah,
What
it was,
the-
you gave us, and we
What's it-
still have
What
it.
was it?
Like a linen kind of tea dish towel kind of thing,
Linen
which
thing.
is beautiful and it looks like it's handmade. And it sits on one of our coffee tables like a
Oh.
little doily.
Oh, just what you need.
Yeah. Well, we can't throw it away because that's my partner.
Sentimental values.
That's sentimental value. I'm gonna get. I gotta get going right now.
Okay, we should let
Just one
you
second. Just give me 1 second here.
do the thing. There are a few people going by.
Yeah.
Do they stop and listen if you're?
Sometimes it depends on the person. Sometimes they're bemused. I'm gonna just go and make sure I didn't get a parking ticket. Let's go for a little walk. I'll be right back.
Yes, the parking.
Yes.
Has it been a nightmare for you
To park
getting
down here?
down here every day?
It's hard because
Parking.
there's a lot of traffic all of a sudden.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of traffic.
Yeah. I think we're starting into the tourist season. That's what it feels like to me.
I suppose, but I found that there's a lot
Grab
of
my
traffic.
keys. What do you mean?
Generally speaking, there's so you want.
Less so now because he's passed away some time ago. But this particular gallery had got all his work from the estate.
Okay.
So they're the official representation of this guy.
Okay.
So, and we have a friend in Calgary, and she's a real a lover of art
Okay.
and antiques and stuff.
And she knew about
She's got
you.
a good eye,
Okay.
and she has some Snows. His name is John Snow, Jack Snow. So she has some. So she was hanging around this gallery,
Okay.
and then just started promoting me to this woman, and then said, "But yeah, come and bring some stuff and talk to her." Oh, here they come.
Oh, they're there.
So that's how I got in there.
Okay.
Well, good for them. Is
Every
this
Saturday.
weekly?
Every Saturday, like clockwork.
Are the numbers staying about the same?
Yeah, from what I can tell. I mean, I don't monitor it that carefully, but it's a serious amount of people,
Yeah.
and their attitude is they have to keep doing it. They have to keep it up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it'd be incumbent on me at some point to, and this is
Incumbent upon you for.
to figure out, okay, what is worth keeping, really worth keeping, or am I only keeping it because I have an attachment to it because I made it? Where does the self-critical ability come in? Do I have it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some things I like, okay, well, you know, that's a keeper, but there's a whole lot of stuff that's on the bubble. And am I just keeping stuff that shouldn't be kept?
Is your
Because I can't bear it.
is your kids and or other relatives, do they have your work in their homes?
The kids don't, but the
Are
kids
they
barely
interested?
have homes, you know. No, actually, Semi has something. I mean, they're going to have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I guess what I was asking about that was more, do they have an ongoing interest in, not so much do they have 20 of your works, that's not what I meant, but do they care that,
No, I think our daughter does. I think Jack does too. I think they appreciate at least that I'm on Planet Art or Art Universe, right?
Planet Art, yeah.
I don't know. I'm somewhere there,
Okay,
and it's a big, wide spectrum, isn't it?
yeah.
But yeah, so they appreciate that, which I appreciate that they do, because
And
lots of people they don't care about art.
yeah, well, no, most people don't.
Well,
care.
I guess most people don't. Yeah, it
It's
means
a
nothing.
pretty elite little world, the art world, of which we're both a part of.
Yeah,
It's the niche of the niche of the niche.
I would like to call it elite.
What?
Elite. We're not elite. We're not elitists.
No, we're not.
We're just in a narrow band of.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, semantically, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is elite because it requires a certain amount of knowledge and education to even understand it. Let's say that contemporary art is not generally very accessible, let's say.
Yeah.
So then how do you get involved with it? You have to educate yourself, or I don't know. Yeah, you have to have a curiosity that makes you go, I don't really understand this, but I'm going to try to understand it. And that's too much work for most people, I think. And that's not a dig against people. I'm not saying that, these people are,
Yeah.
they should be put aside because they just don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's lots of things I don't want to learn.
There's tons of stuff I don't understand,
Yeah.
but I like it.
Yeah, that's different. Then you have
But
a
it makes
curiosity.
me I like it enough that it makes me wonder about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And then maybe the more wondering you do, maybe you start coming to an understanding.
That's exactly how people come into the arts. I was talking to a younger woman earlier today who came in for a visit, and she's working on her master's degree. That's exactly the kind of language she was using. The idea of the curiosity about stuff.
Yeah.
But isn't there stuff you're not curious about? Like, do you want to know about, I don't know, brain surgery or?
Only if it's being done to me.
Oil rigs. You want to learn about oil rigs or pipelines from Alberta through northern BC?
What is inside Donald Trump's head?
Yeah, well, I would like to know that. And
Nothing.
they'll keep his brain like they keep Einstein's brain. Just put them as contrasts.
No, that's a good question though, because then it becomes how much, and there's your thing about sorting.
Yeah.
We have to sort through how much time and mental energy we have to be curious about whatever, the priorities.
And we have to sort through, when we do investigate our curiosity, what is worth investigating and what is not. Like, I'd spend, as many people do, probably an inordinate amount of time trying to understand what's inside of Trump's brain. And there are days where I don't even read the news because I don't want to pursue that. It's a kind of weird addiction that people have, including me. So how do you stop yourself from... Everybody has gotten lost on the internet into some kind of rabbit hole looking at who knows